What's going on to you, Cancer Crabs? So you Cancers have the Knight of Pentacles, the Devil card, and you have the Five of Pentacles. Now, the Devil obviously is Capricorn, right? Your opposite zodiac sign. So there's definitely a sense of you and someone else being at odds with one another, right? Which is irony, because the Knight of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Five of Pentacles speaks to how a lot of you Cancer Crabs ultimately you're doing better for yourselves. And truth be told, you walked away from unhealthy, dysfunctional relationships of any kind. And the Hermit really does represent how people don't want you to do that. So there's people in your life that you probably have learned to let go of recently, or still in your life, that don't really want you Cancer Crabs to really become independent. I dislike how it is that YouTube really does censor these Cancer Crab videos, because I'm not talking about the illness. I'm literally talking about the zodiac sign. It's just that the zodiac sign name happened to be Cancer, right? So all I have to say to YouTube is, stop sponsoring, stop making sure that the Cancer Crab videos don't perform well in the algorithm, because I'm not talking about the problem. I'm talking about the zodiac sign, only the zodiac sign. I'm never going to be talking about the problem. I'm always going to be talking about the zodiac sign. It's just that they share the same name, but they mean something totally different. But the point that I'm trying to make here, that was just my kind of message to YouTube, right? But the Hermit right here speaks to how a lot of you Cancer Crabs ultimately, you still have people in your life probably who still don't really want you Cancer Crabs to go anywhere. And that's where the butting of the heads and the opposition is coming from. It's the fact that you Cancer Crabs are going against the grain, i.e. the programming of what this person that represents the Hermit wanted from you, right? Because they're hiding their intentions. They're not letting you Cancer Crabs know from telling you or actions, right, what it is that they want. They want everything to be covert. And if you catch them in the act of doing some nonsense or doing something shady, then you catch them in the act of doing something nonsensical, So this is where the butting of the heads for you Cancer Crabs and this other person is coming from. It's the fact that you realize that you can't trust somebody. You can't trust a lot of these people, because it seems like every time you Cancer Crabs actually are healing from your own personal shortcomings, right? And the heartbreak of you Cancer Crabs taking certain things personally, it seems like this person finds a new way to make sure that you Cancer Crabs don't actually end up escaping that kind of problem. And then the thing about it is that the Emperor right here really does represent, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day what they try, because you Cancer Crabs are still very much so comfortable living your life. You're doing your own thing regardless of what other people created or thought that they had in store for you. You Cancer Crabs definitely are living your life. And then you have, like I said, you have the Emperor, right, which means that you're in control of your own destiny, and you Cancer Crabs know that good and well. And like it is, I said before, I only report to y'all what it is that I be seeing. I'm seeing, and honestly speaking, you Cancer Crabs have all the potential and stuff like this to do whatever it is that you want. But the thing about it is that I just be seeing how people be giving you Cancer Crabs opposition and stuff sometimes, And that's what Cancer Crabs represent. It represents opposition. It represents challenges that if you don't believe me, go look it up. Cancer Crabs represents challenges that we all face in our lives. It represents the trials and the tribulations of existing, right? The problems that we create, the problems that come to us, that keeps walking into our front door, that we have to essentially address. So a lot of times, sometimes that's not even Aries. That's not even what Aries does. That's actually Cancer crabs. So a lot of times, I'm sure some of you Cancer crabs will be like, well, why are you know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of y'all probably don't, like, I don't know, a lot of y'all don't comment on the videos and stuff like this, which will really help the video perform well. I'm pretty sure a lot of you Cancer crabs are like, well, you don't, you know what I'm saying? You probably don't comment because you think that I'm going in on y'all. But the thing about it is that the star card right here is about how you Cancer crabs have a very definite or definitive view or vision of how it is that you Cancer crabs see for your own future that certain people just don't align with. And like I said, that's where the opposition is coming from. And then you have the Tower. And it's ironic because the Tower is literally up underneath the Devil card in the same column. So it's like the Tower right here is coming crashing down because of the Devil, right? The opposition. So this could be like a friendship or a connection that you Cancer crabs see, that it was a connection that was essentially short-lived because you and this person, birds of a feather flock together, like I've been saying. And you Cancer crabs cannot hang out with this person because of that, of that fact, like, and this is, and see, I'm really gonna say something, Cancer crabs, because this is a platform where I really jump on, and this is like a freeing experience for me to really just come through and really just really just bust down some truth to y'all. That type of scenario that I just explained to you, Cancer crabs, is exactly what it is that I be talking about. This is New York, but this is exactly what it is that I be talking about, that a lot of people will make it seem like Virgos, because I am a Virgo, are being super suspicious or super disrespectful about. And it's not a matter of disrespect whatsoever. What it is with a Virgo wants things to be consistent. And this is the thing, a lot of people, I don't know if they deliberately misinterpret it or if they misinterpret it, right? Because they make conflations. But they conflate the two things. They don't really see. They don't really pick up what's on it, or they just deliberately miss it. When it comes to Virgos, right, this is why it is that Virgos be so important, right? It's because, and this has to do with the reading, right, for sure. It's because the thing is that with Virgos, we be wanting stuff to make sense, like consistent sense, that a lot of people act like they can't do. Like a lot of times people will be thinking like they alive. It's like you got like on one hand, right? For instance, like on one hand, you are martial artists, but then the same person who's the martial artist will be walking down the runway with black tape on and just bare, other than the tape, booty hanging out, swinging samurai swords, and it's like what kind of a dichotomy is that? Like, so on one hand, you doing something praiseworthy because it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you doing some karate stuff, which is cool, right? That's what people love to see. I love to see it. I got a moon in Aries. I love combat. I love like mixed martial arts and pugilistic sports and stuff like this. I love martial arts, right? I love martial arts. But then on the other hand, it's like, but you compromising yourself in this way. And then a lot of the times, this is why that's so much of a problem. It's because of the lack of consistency that a lot of you Cancer crabs probably saw in this. Like, This person is hanging out with you, spider crawling up the wall, so that's money. But on the one hand, right, on the on the one hand, I'm not afraid because spiders don't bite human beings. But um but on the one hand, right, they hanging out with you, but then on the other hand, they trying to sabotage you. Like, what kind of a lack of consistency is that? On the one hand, they'll tell you that they love you, bold face, right? This friend or this potential romantic partner, right? But then on the other hand, it's like they will completely go against the dialectically and diametrically against the very thing that they said or that they just did. It's like two minds. They're double-minded. They are double-minded now, where this is a situation where you Cancer Crabs probably trusted these individuals, right? It could have been a romantic interest, it could have been a friend, it could have been a family, right? Familial blood ties. But then at the same time, it's like you can't even see these people as the same individuals anymore because, again, the lack of, they already gone with, oh, okay, the lack of the lack of consistency. The fact that on one hand, this person is hanging around you and won't stop hanging around you, but at the same time, is compromising themselves as that, and then trying to play it off like, well, I'm just a human being. But at the same time, human beings are not supposed to be that fragmented. Like, human beings are like, I understand the art, and see, this is what I want you Cancer Crabs to understand why y'all so right. It's because of the Four Swords and the Knight of Cups. Y'all don't care how they made up that type of excuse. You still don't want anything to do with them. And I'm here to tell you, Cancer Crabs, this is the reason why you Cancers was right to stay away from these dysfunctional people. You were right to do that because you were right to do that. You are right to do that and continue to do that because people are not supposed to be making themselves into, like, there's a such thing as, like, what most people are confusing it and trying to deliberately confuse it sometimes to run a narrative is duality. It's like there's a difference between duality and dichotomy. There is. A duality means, like I said, it's a contradiction. This is why I say that to you Cancer Crabs, that a contradiction, right, is seemingly two things that don't appear on face value that they go together. But once you keep doing the research to it, you start to see that they actually do go together, right? That's what a contradiction is. This is why I don't call dialectically things that are opposite to one another contradictions. I call them oxymorons, because an oxymoron is, that's what it is. It's an accidental, the word oxy is, in certain cases, means accidental. So it's an accidental moron. It's a something that seems to be an accident, but isn't to a certain extent, but it is, in the sense that it's an oxymoron, in the sense that, like, it's two things that don't actually blend together like oil and water, attempting to mix and look and act like they can work well together when in actuality they can't. You dig what I'm saying? That's why I call it that's why I say dialectically opposed, oxymoron, dichotomy. Because what a dichotomy is a dichotomy is a division. It's not something that can exist within one person at one given time, because it's two drastic of two. It's two different characters in one person for it to exist in one person. You see what I'm saying? So I was using the martial arts thing as like kind of like an example of it. I know somebody like that in real life. Don't know them personally, but I know of them in real life. And like today, I had to stop following them. And the reason why is because of the fact of just that. Like, you can't that's oxymoronic. Like, you can't be on some martial arts stuff, but then you have an OF page. It's like you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be praised for your martial arts, but you like what like but martial arts teaches you to respect yourself. But then you doing the dialectically opposed thing from self-respect, a healthy level of self-respect, going into vanity, where you vainglory, where you now want people to pay you for what? Exactly. Like, this is, you see what I'm saying? Like, and this is why, like I said, this is why you Cancer Crab saw the lack of integrity and was like, no, you gotta bounce. So now the Queen of Wands represents, here they are, these people that you know, whether they are romantic interest or friends or like familial ties, trying to convince you, Cancer Crabs, that you should give them a second chance. And you, Cancer Crabs, are like, no. Because you, Cancer Crabs, you probably have way more, you probably have integrity. So let's clarify the Knight of Cups. Three of Wands, Nine of Cups, Three of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, and then you have the Ten of Swords to clarify the Knight of Cups. So the Three of Wands and the Nine of Cups right here is about how, again, you have more integrity than they do. So why would you decide to hang out with them? You know? And this speaks volumes as to your value, where you, Cancer Crabs, are so stand up with it, you realize that you can't be taking these people seriously because you have honor and integrity. So, you know what I mean? Like, what part of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like how, like, we are supposed to strive to be consistent with ourselves. That's when things are working in unison. That's when things are working. That's where we drawing from Libra, because Libra represents peace, because everything is consistent and it makes sense. Even when it appears to not make sense, it's a contradiction. You see what I'm saying? To where things don't seemingly make sense to the person who doesn't understand what they're looking at or looking out for, but they actually do make sense, and things are connected in that way where they are consistent. But when you have dichotomous natures and like oxymorons, it's like, how does oil and water work together when molecularly they separate? This is why oil rises to the top and it sits at the top of the water. It don't blend in and mix well with the water. That's not what happens. It's just that oil and water don't mix. They are two dialectically and diametrically opposed substances. You know what I'm saying? That just don't work. That separates theyself. You dig what I'm saying? So the point that I'm trying to make here with that is that, so the mere fact that this person even thinks that they're trying to appease to you, right? To where if you can just be okay with it, you can't.